Good evening, listeners, and heartfelt welcome to this special presentation of our English literary magazine, Spectrum. Literature is something that is both a mirror of life and a guide to the path of living it. Speaking of a path to living life, a story comes to my mind that I would like to share with all of you. Once upon a time, a wildfire consumed the forest. Panic struck the heart of the jungle. The animals scrambled desperately to tame the raging flames, drawing whatever water they could find. In this chaos, a tiny bird took flight, filled her beak with a single drop of water, and cast it into the roaring blaze. The other animals watched in astonishment and mocked her, asking, "What do you think you are doing?" She replied, "I am doing my part to extinguish this fire. When history is written, my name will never be counted among those who sparked the destruction, but among those who fought to save our home." So this story tells that whatever potential we have, our intention must be pure. In today's Spectrum, first we'll listen to the poetry by Rashmi Sethi.
Every effort matters. The world celebrates arrivals, the medals, the victories, the shining finish lines. But rarely does it celebrate the trembling hands, the sleepless nights, the thousand unseen steps that brought someone there. And yet, those steps are the story, because every effort matters. So, do not mourn the dream, dear heart, if it still seems far away, for the stars are never gathered in a single night or day. Every river starts as raindrops. Every oak begins as seed. Every flame that lights the darkness starts as one small spark indeed. Every effort matters. Not because it wins a trophy, not because the world will see, but because with every struggle you become who you are meant to be. The road is not a punishment. The road is not a punishment. The road is not delay. The road is life's own classroom where your spirit finds its way. For mountains are not conquered by a giant leap alone, but by countless quiet footsteps that world has never known. Every effort matters. Every sunrise learns from darkness. Every sunrise learns from darkness. Every dawn from fading night. Every bird must trust its feathers before taking fearless flight. Every bird must trust its feathers before taking fearless flight. And perhaps today you are weary. Perhaps hope has lost its song. Perhaps every mile before you feel impossibly long. But listen. The rose does not stop blooming just because the storm appears. It gathers beauty from the sunshine and wisdom from the tears. The rose does not stop blooming just because the storm appears. It gathers beauty from the sunshine and wisdom from the tears. The moon does not apologize for fading from the sky. It simply waits in patience for its time again to rise. The moon does not apologize for fading from the sky. It simply waits in patience for its time again to rise. Every effort matters. The page you wrote and erased again. The courage you could barely find. The battles no one knew you fought. The wounds you kept behind. The mornings when you carried on, though your heart was tired and sore. The evenings when you wanted rest, yet still gave something more. The world may never count these things. It may never understand. But life records each loving step like seashells on the sand. But life records each loving step like seashells on the sand. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Not the failures, not the waiting, not the tears you could not hide. Nothing is wasted, not the failures, not the waiting, not the tears you could not hide. For every disappointment leaves a lesson by your side. For every disappointment leaves a lesson by your side. The sculptor strikes the marble 1,000 times or more before the shining masterpiece emerges from its core. The river meets resistance at every rock and bend, yet every obstacle it meets helps shape it in the end. Yet every obstacle it meets helps shape it in the end. And so it is with you. And so it is with you. The heartache makes you gentler. The struggle makes you wise. The heartache makes you gentler. The struggle makes you wise. The setback builds the strength you will need to reach a grander prize. The setback builds the strength you will need to reach a grander prize. Every effort matters. The heartache makes you gentler. The heartache makes you gentler. The struggle makes you wise. The setbacks build the strength you will need to reach a grander prize. The setbacks build the strength you will need to reach a grander prize. Every effort matters. Not because the finish line will suddenly appear, but because each step transforms you year by precious year. The destination is a moment, a photograph, a cheer. The destination is a moment, a photograph, a cheer. The journey is the beating heart. The journey is the beating heart that brought you all the way here. The journey is the beating heart that brought you all the way here. For what is reaching any summit if your spirit did not grow? What is finding every answer if you never learn to know? The power is hidden in persistence. The power is hidden in persistence. The grace within the fall. The grace within the fall. The quiet strength of rising up when you have no strength at all. The quiet strength of rising up when you have no strength at all. Every effort matters. Every effort matters. Like rain that feeds the forest, like roots beneath the ground, like melodies that fills the air before they are fully found, like rain that feeds the forest, like roots beneath the ground, like melodies that fill the air before they are fully found. So, if you today feels heavy and your dreams seem far above, if today feels heavy and your dreams seem far above, remember this. The journey is not measured only by the goals you love. The journey is not measured only by the goals you love. It is measured by the courage that returns after defeat. It is measured by the courage that returns after defeat, by the faith that keeps on walking with blistered, aching feet. It is measured by the kindness It is measured by the kindness you still offers through the pain, by your choice to keep believing after loss and after rain. It is measured by the courage. It is measured by the kindness. And one day, when you turn around to view the path you have crossed, you will see that none of it was futile, none of it was lost. And one day when you turn around to view the path you have crossed, you will see that none of it was futile, none of it was lost. The mountains, the valleys, the storms, the scars, the mountains, the valleys, the storms, the scars, they were not standing in your way. They were not standing in your way. They were becoming part of who you are. They were becoming part of who you are. And then you will understand at last with grateful shining eyes. And then you will understand at last with grateful shining eyes that life was never just about the place where greatness lies. It was always in the footsteps. It was always in the footsteps, the lessons and the climb. In every brave beginning, in every trying time. It was always in the footsteps, the lessons and the climb, in every brave beginning, in every trying time. For destinations fade like sunsets. For destinations fade like sunsets, and applause grows still and small. For destinations fade like sunsets, and applause grows still and small. But the person born from the journey, that is the greatest gift of all. That is the greatest gift of all. Every effort matters. Every step matters. Every attempt matters. And so do you. And so do you.
This was poetry by Rashmi Sethi. You are listening to literary magazine program Spectrum on Akashvani Jalandhar. In this program, now you will listen to a story by Vikas Singh. The title of the story is Yeti.
Anzin, get up quickly. We need to leave as soon as possible to collect wood. The weather doesn't seem good today. We are planning to leave early. My father Rinchen called out to wake me. Collecting wood is a community event in our village where all villagers work together. The journey to collect wood starts early in the morning and everyone returns to the village by the evening. My uncle Dichan, who is my father's elder brother and head of the village, was leading the convoy. Kunu, come, let's go, I shouted to call our Gaddi dog, who never leaves my side since my father brought it home. Kunu has been known for his aggressive behavior and is always ready to fight. Anzin, come quick, we are leaving, my father called once again. Coming, father, I replied and came out running. Everyone was ready and soon we were on our way walking on the banks of mighty river Zanskar. There were 10 of us and each one had their own yak to carry the wood. As we began our journey from the village, it started snowing heavily. But we kept moving for we knew that in a few days from now the village would be disconnected from the rest of the country due to the snow. I think the winters are going to be harsh this year, Rinchan, said Uncle Dichan. Yes, it looks like that, replied my father. Anzin, how are you? Are you scared? Asked Uncle Dichan jokingly. Not at all, uncle, I replied smiling. Good. Fear is a bad travel companion and with Kuno by your side, you don't have to worry, replied Uncle Dichan and then turned to address everyone else. We must hurry. I have a very bad feeling about the weather today. Please walk fast, brothers, shouted father and started singing a Ladakhi folk song. Everyone picked up the pace and joined my father in singing the song. After a trek of 2.5 hours, we reached our destination. Listen everyone, the weather is not good. Please collect the wood and load it on the yaks quickly. We need to move back towards the village as soon as possible. I think this snowstorm is going to intensify, shouted Uncle Dichan. Everyone started cutting and collecting wood. Everyone was working fast, and in an hour or two we collected enough wood. As I was chopping a big log of wood, suddenly my axe broke and hit on my shin and made a deep cut on it. I cried in pain and fell to the ground. I was bleeding as the axe was sharp and made a deep cut in my skin. Everyone rushed to check what happened. They lifted me and took me to a side near a rock. My father quickly checked the wound. Luckily, the bone was not broken, but the cut was deep. My father took out some herbs from his bag and quickly made a paste by crushing the herbs. He cleaned the wound and applied the herbal paste. He then tied the wound and told me to rest. Kunu was sitting right next to me all the time. Uncle Dichan made tea for me and told me to lie down. It started snowing heavily and became very windy. The visibility was almost nil. There is no time to waste, brothers. We must load the wood on the yaks and prepare to move back right away, otherwise we will be stuck in the snow for the night, shouted Uncle Dichan at top of his voice. It was decided that I will travel on yak's back. Father, with the help of a couple of other villagers, lifted me and placed me on the yak's back, and we started back towards the village. Father and I were moving slowly as compared to the rest. Soon we realized that we have lost our way due to the low visibility and got separated from the group of villagers. Our priority now was to find a place to spend the night. We kept moving for some time till we found a cave. It was just what we needed to take a refuge. The cave was big enough to accommodate my father, Kuno, and the yaks along with me. Father helped me get down. I limped and settled on the ground. Kuno came and sat next to me. Father spread a woolen mattress and made me lie down on it. He covered me with a woolen blanket and lighted the fire to cook some paba. After we finished eating, Father checked my wound. It was bad, and I was in a lot of pain. I could hardly eat due to the excruciating pain. My father cleaned the wound again and applied some herbs to it again. It will alleviate the pain, he reassured me. Soon the herbs showed their effect and I fell asleep. It was the middle of the night when Kuno started barking very aggressively. We woke up and father grabbed his axe, just in case a wolf, bear or a snow leopard had shown up. The yaks were also frightened, which meant a beast could be out there that we were unable to see in the darkness. Kuno was getting increasingly aggressive, and that added to our concern. My father took out his dagger and his eyes were fixed on the entrance of the cave. Kuno was barking continuously but stayed right next to me. Suddenly we saw a huge figure appear right in front of the cave. As it approached us, visibility grew better. What we saw next took our breath away. There was a huge creature standing right in front of us. It was a yeti. We were terrified. Yeti was around 10 feet tall, full of long hair. It had big eyes, big hands, huge feet, muscular body, and it moved exactly like humans. Yeti looked at Kuno as if trying to communicate with it, and suddenly Kuno grew quiet and sat down next to me. Kuno's not attacking and growling meant that Yeti was no threat to us. O divine being, we are innocent people. My son is badly injured. He could not walk. Due to the snowstorm, we have lost our way. Please forgive us if we have caused any trouble to you. My father spoke with utmost respect with folded hands. Yeti made a gesture as if he was telling us to follow him. "O divine being, my son can't walk. We cannot go with you," said my father. Yeti understood and picked me up in his arms and looked at the dog. Kuno stood up and looked at my father as if he is telling him that we should follow the Yeti. Father stood up and started to gather our blanket and carpets. He loaded it on the yak and we followed the Yeti. We kept walking for at least 15-20 minutes before reaching a huge rock. It looks like a dead end. Yeti placed me gently on the ground and walked towards the rock to roll it away, and behold, it was entrance of a cave. Yeti lifted me again in his arms and carried me inside. He placed me on the ground. The cave was filled with light and warmth. Leaving us there, he went deeper inside the cave and vanished in the darkness. "Are you okay, Anzen?" Father inquired as soon as Yeti left. "Yes, I am okay, Father. Are we safe in his cave?" I asked. "Yes, we are safe. Yeti is a divine being, and we are blessed to have met him," replied my father. As we were talking, the Yeti emerged from the darkness. He walked straight towards me and sat next to me. Despite my father's assurance and Kuno's trust in Yeti, I was still a little scared. He took my leg in his huge hand and opened the bandage that was tied on my wound. I cried out with pain. He stopped and looked at me. There was a calm in his eyes and was not scary at all. He had brought a fluorescent blue ointment with him, which he applied on my wound. I was expecting that it would hurt, but to my surprise, it didn't hurt at all. In fact, all the pain vanished as soon as that ointment touched my skin. He placed a fabric on the wound but did not tie it. He looked at Kuno, who was still smiling at the Yeti and wagging his tail. He then went and sat near Yeti, who gently patted Kuno. Soon we all fell asleep. The next morning when we woke, the Yeti was gone. My father came to me and removed the cloth that Yeti had kept on the wound, and what we saw reaffirmed our faith that Yeti was a divine being. There was no trace of any injury on my skin. It had healed completely. I got up and walked and felt no pain at all. We looked around, but Yeti was nowhere to be seen. "It's time to go home," said my father. "Let's go, Kunu." I patted the dog on the head. "Wait. We need to leave some offering to the divine being who saved our life," said father. He took out a nice woolen blanket, which my mother had made for my father and was very dear to him. We placed it at the spot where the Yeti had sat last night. We bowed our heads with gratitude and left the cave, still wondering about the miracle that had saved our lives. It was still snowing outside, but nothing compared to the storm last night. We kept walking till we hit a trail that my father recognized immediately. It took us half a day's walk to reach our village. The villagers were worried about us and had sent a search party to look for us. Everyone was relieved to see us safe and sound. My uncle Dichan called for a celebration. It was a spiritual adventure, and I could see that neither my father nor me and Kuno were going to be the same again. I had never seen Kuno so calm. That night, Yeti not only saved our lives but also changed our perspective about it completely. Just because we do not understand another being as they are different from us is no reason for us to harm them in any way. Nature can be as cruel as it is divine, and we humans must respect it. It's a lesson I learned that night and not likely to forget ever.
And with this final story, we bring another edition of Spectrum to a gentle close. We hope that the story stirred your imagination and the poetry brought a moment of peace to your evening. Thank you for sharing your time and your love for literature with us tonight.